The CS2 market has just hit its highest market cap ever at $5.3 billion, and things have been going absolutely insane, starting off with our skins market. Now, there's been a lot of people suspecting manipulation going on, but if we want to look all across the board, there is one thing we know for sure, and that's what these prices are going absolutely insane. It's your M4A1Ss, your M4A4s, and a lot of different other skins like your Deagles too. It's all across the board. We're seeing these massive price increases for the majority of items inside of a specific niche. It's very interesting and definitely something that I would be very careful of, because even if your item isn't directly impacted by, say, manipulation, overall there is definitely something going on, whether it's hype, whether it's just something going on specifically inside of this situation here. There is no guarantee that these prices will not revert back to what we saw previously if we start to see a little bit of a drop off. And I'm not saying that to warn you necessarily, but to be cautious that investing into these items right now at these higher price points, the majority of the time does not make any sense. It's very unlikely that we're going to see sustained levels at this price for a significant amount of time if it truly is manipulation or some very strong hype based momentum we're seeing right now. But at the very end, it's absolutely insane the prices we're seeing for some of these skins, as they've doubled or tripled in the past year or the past couple months alone. Skinland is today's sponsor, and if you're looking to sell your CS2 skins, they are the #1 spot. Now with Valve's latest update, you have to wait 7 days to go ahead and get your money, but with Skinland, you're going to be able to get the best rate possible with a $10 free bonus on your first trade. Now don't forget to use code MasterShiny for that bonus, and the best part about this is they are one of the first to bring this back, and they are the most safe option to sell your CS2 skins for cash. They've also got a massive marketplace if you're looking to pick up some CS2 skins as well, significantly cheaper than the Steam market. I sell on Skinland for the best rate, so don't wait. And then getting on into the area that has the most manipulation going on, that's going to be your sticker and capsule market. We talked about the Evil Geniuses hollow. That thing is still up there in price and going crazy, along with a lot of different Stockholm hollows. It seems like Renegades has really taken the spotlight as of recently. The biggest piece of advice I have for this area is be definitely careful of any money you want to put inside of this area. Even something like the Legend Stockholm capsule, which I have a ton of. I'm glad it shot up in price. I would not be paying $5 for this thing in the current market just because of how risky it is. It's 3 to 4x in the past month and a half. And I would also take this advice and look at the rest of the sticker capsule market. There's a lot of capsules that have shot up in price relatively recently that I would not really make an investment into, honestly speaking. There's so much risk inside of this area, and right now we're seeing that come to light with the prices explode all across the board. Obviously, you would have wanted to make some of that profit. Maybe you did. I would say investing right now is not going to get you that profit moving forward, in my personal opinion. There's a lot of risk inside of this area, and although there is some potential, for me personally, it's just not worth it. I think the risk far outweighs the reward, especially when we compare it to other areas, which we're going to be talking about in a minute. Now, another area that's had a pretty interesting development is going to be the agent market. Now, agents have a little bit different of a period of growth because it's been over the past couple of months rather than just the past month or so, but if we want to look at them, we can definitely see they have shot up in price significantly, and we're talking massive amounts, 400 to 500% for some of these agents, which is absolutely insane. But it really comes down to the agent market itself. It's so unique that we don't really have any major comparisons we can make. That's because we haven't seen any new agents in almost 4 years at this point. Therefore, the supply has been capped for almost 3.5, and we're running into a situation now where the continued player base is growing, and we're left in a situation where more and more people want agents. Although agents aren't necessarily destroyed, they're becoming less and less really available for sale unless we get to a higher price point, which is what we've been consistently seeing. I would say agents are a little bit more of a unique situation. We don't know what exactly is going to happen here. If Valve releases new agents, are the old ones going to drop significantly? Are they going to drop a little bit? We don't have any great comparisons to pull on, which is why it's such an interesting area, and definitely one that I would keep your eye on. There's a lot of money that have been pumped into these agents. We don't know if it's going to stick or not because we don't have any real comparisons to make. Now, if there's one really good thing to come out of all of this in terms of a buyer's perspective, it's going to be the rare case market. It's actually down a very significant amount, relatively speaking. It's down around 16 to 17% depending on the case and depending on your points in the past month, and if we want to look in the past week, it's down maybe 10%. For the majority of cases, this is more significant than a drop we usually see inside of a time period like this. We see a summer pullback, but this one is definitely more advantageous to buyers, most likely because obviously in the past year, we've seen these prices absolutely balloon, and I don't think they're going back down, but I also don't think that this is a bad time to buy per se. I really don't think, honestly, that these cases are going to be staying in this position for a significant amount of time. Look at the unboxing numbers. They've definitely dropped off a fair bit, but they're still being unboxed, and right now, considering none of the hype is going into this area, I think they're in a very solid position moving forward. For me, when we look at all the data surrounding this, I don't think the prices are really going to be getting much cheaper from this point. A lot of people are looking for a major regression from some of that growth we saw previously. I don't think that's going to happen. I think honestly a lot of these prices right now are looking extremely cheap, most likely because people are trying to sell out of their rare cases and invest into these other areas that have the hype right now. Rare cases are one of the best long-term and more stable investments you can make. Obviously they're still not risk-free, but they're about as close as you can get in my personal opinion when we're talking about the long-term plays, because they have a very limited supply. It only keeps on going down, and I really like the position that they're in long-term. Now, talking about our Austin Major, things could definitely be going better inside of this area, but honestly not much. If we want to look at it, our capsules are all above a 100% ROI, demonstrating that there is not a ton of interest in unboxing these right now, which is actually really good if we want to talk about the potential for having an investment long-term that's actually going to grow. And if we want to look at it, there's definitely some very valuable stickers inside of it, which is also really good. The most important piece is going to be coming down to that data and seeing the applications once they start to come out and once we're a little bit into the sale, because you got to remember this sale is going to be extremely long, but there is the potential that this could shape up to be quite decent, especially if we're seeing some pretty high application rates. Although our autographs are definitely not anything special, they themselves are also supporting a relatively decent ROI. 78% for our challengers and 67% for the contenders is definitely higher than I expected it to be personally, and there's a lot of things going for Austin right now. It's going to be interesting to see how sustained it is though, because obviously this is a very long road. Now there's one area that's been absolutely exploding in terms of the prices inside of it, and that's going to be the armory. In fact, we're looking at 166% ROI on some of these charms, 150% on our stick collections. We are so back inside of this area in terms of the items being really worthwhile to use your stars on, which is absolutely insane. Honestly, even our collections are creeping back up. 120 for the sport and 104 for the graphic collection. This thing is so interesting because obviously this is something that we really expected to kind of go down in price. Right now we're seeing quite the opposite. Prices are going up right now, even with some of the older, less interested areas like our specific charms and stickers. Obviously they are still in demand, but you would think they would have fallen off. Not exactly. They're still going very strong inside of this area. M4A1S Solitude wrapping it up. It's about 125% ROI, coming down to the point we would really expect it to be at. Now, one thing very important to do right now is be very careful of all of these price explosions going on. Obviously, you can make a lot of money when something absolutely shoots up in price, but you don't want to go chasing something like this. It's a very easy way to lose a lot of your money. Don't be going to any of these support groups that are going to be pumping up items and paying them money to, especially to do so. There's so much going on inside of this area, but at the end of the day, everyone's probably trying to take your money. Let's be completely honest here, and especially more so when you walk into one of these groups that are literally paying money to pump up items and they want you to pay them to help them get the capital to do so or whatever. They might just take your money at the end of the day. There is so much risk in trying to do something like that. It's just absurd, and honestly you need to be very careful of even attempting something like that because it's going to backfire on you. Always check your own sources and make sure you're using your own decision making. That's all I got with these. You want to have a good rest of your day.